not Nur is not the source, but it is which emits light
I
and
understand the point.
yes.
But
So,
please sit
Allah.
down. Yes. When he says that, he only says that in comparative terms. Nur as such does not mean reflection, reflected light. Understand this once and for all. That by itself, Nur does not mean reflected light. What Hazrat Muslim Maud wants to emphasize is the fact that as against sun, there is a difference between the light of moon and the light of sun. And that light which sun pours down upon moon is generated by the sun itself. While the light which is reflected from moon is not its own, but what it receives from the sun. So, because it reflects the light, it becomes milder in nature, with the sense that it loses heat, which is initially the most important feature of sun's light. And it becomes light more than heat wave. And Nur has essentially that meaning. A light which is not heat, which is just a light which is cool and just gives the sense of light and not that of heat. So because sun also originally has both these qualities, it does not mean that sun did not have Nur. Had sun not possessor of Nur, had it not been possessor of Nur, how could Nur remain after its reflection from the moon? So that is only an analogy to make you understand the position which Hazrat Masih Maud occupies vis-a-vis Hazrat Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Ahlu sallallahu alaihi wasallam is the original source of light, which has both these characteristics prominent to light, that is heat and cool light. And this is the difference, this is also the meaning of Jalal and Jamal. A sun which is rich in both these qualities pours down light, which is a full light, which also has the characteristic of heat, strong energy, and mild form of energy, which is light. So Hazrat sallallahu alaihi wasallam has both the qualities of Jalal and Jamal. But it was for the moon to reflect only the Jamal part. So this is why a difference of terminology has been used to indicate that Hazrat Rasul Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam is the original source of light, number one. He covers the complete spectrum of light. And when he was to be reflected in the latter days by Hazrat Masih Maud, he would be reflecting only the Nur part and not the Jalal part, that is Ziya, which is full of energy, generating very strong heat as well. So this is by way of analogy, things are attempted to be understood easily by some people. That does not mean that you should extend analogy too far into regions where it should not be carried. When Allah is said to be Nur, there Nur does not mean the reflected light from the moon at all. Nur means light as against darkness. Everything which is good, everything which is there, a positive virtue as against all that is negative. If there is no Nur, there is no value left. So Allah is source of everything that exists. That is the meaning of Allah being the Nur. It doesn't mean that He is a Nur in the sense that the moon reflects the light of Hazrat Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Is it a question arising from the same question or a different question now you want to? Son?
Different question.
So better wait, and I'll first give someone else a chance, please. Yes.
Assalamu alaikum. We have just received a letter from Maulana Mumashri Sahib Amini of Qadian.
Yes.
He sent his Islam to Hazur and he shall be leaving India for
Leave that.
tomorrow.
Yes, please.
So,
Now, Dr. Saeed, I should like first to answer some small questions received by me. Was it through your wife or did Alia send them directly to me? Alia sent them directly to me. Questions asked by her little son Siraj, the nephew of Mrs. Dr. Dawood, whose father died a few months ago. Was it a few months or a year ago? About a year.
Dr. Moinul Haq Khan.
Yes. When did he die?
February.
February this year, right. So they were deeply shocked, the children were, and many questions started agitating them about the philosophy of life and death and so on. So the questions he has been asking the mother, she wrote to me, but unfortunately they belong to such a serious realm of knowledge that it is not possible for a child of his age to understand them fully. Yet I have tried to explain the same questions quite at some length here in London as well as in earlier question and answer sessions. So I was thinking of how to make him understand the things, because it's very difficult to speak to a child on a subject which is perhaps beyond his reach, but still if it agitates his mind, we must attempt to pacify that agitated mind. So the first question is, why should my father have died of all the people? That he says, I can't understand, as if God has been unjust. That is the implication of this question. So the fact is that if his father was not to die, does it mean that nobody should die at all? Or does it mean that not his father but somebody else's father? So either way you look at it, it does not satisfy one's mind. If nobody is to die, then the whole scheme of life should be changed completely. There should be no death. Death is bad, while in fact death is good. It is the struggle between life and death which has taught man so much. And all these advances have been taking place because of this struggle between life and death and effort. And the manliness is taught to man to accept challenges and to achieve greater things. If there were no struggle between life and death, then there would be nothingness. Then there won't be any Siraj to ask a question to me. Because that Siraj would be an amoeba which will have no mind to even conceive such questions. The whole progress which has taken place is because of this struggle between life and death. So you cannot do away with death anyway. It's impossible. So if you can't do away, when whose father? This is the question. So Allah is very fair about that. Allah has laid down certain rules and regulations in this fight. When the armies move against other armies, there are certain rules of battle which are followed by both. And some people, some soldiers give up their life in that course of struggle. So would a boy of a murdered father, a father killed in the battle, have the right to ask this question why it was, for instance, it was the British government who sent their troops to the Falkland Island. Some people lost their lives. So did every boy whose father was killed had a right to ask the British government why it was